Hey everyone, it's John Heath here again for Milton Rose Learning with another Let's Learn video on the poem The Émigrée. So what we're going to do today then is we're going to have a look at some key context. So just kind of things that you need to know basically about this poem before diving in. Then we'll have a nice little reading of it. It's not a very long one, so it's only three stanzas, so we'll break that down quickly. And then we'll give you some of the best annotations to go into your anthology for this poem. Okay, so let's have a little look at the key context. Okay, so first off then, displacement and exile. So this poem, as the title kind of shows really, it explores the experience of being forced to leave one's homeland, likely due to conflict or oppression. It's left a little bit ambiguous, though the country remains unnamed, but therefore it's kind of universally relevant. This is a poem for all people who've kind of been forced from their homelands and displaced. Okay. Now, memory versus reality. Carol Rumens highlights how émigrés, people who've emigrated, often hold an idealised, nostalgic image of their homeland, even though it may now be dangerous or changed beyond recognition. So if you're forced from your homeland and it was like a war zone or something like that, and I've taught a lot of students who are émigrés, then a lot of the time there's a kind of idealized view of the homeland, like, oh, it was amazing and it was beautiful. But Rumens' kind of point in this poem is that may not actually be true. The homeland has probably changed quite a lot, and it's not as good as perhaps you hold it to be. It may not be. So memory versus reality. Memory can be a very funny thing, and that's what Rumens is kind of raising in this poem. Also, political and personal identity. The poem blends personal emotions of the émigré with political themes. So it reflects how identity can be shaped and challenged by exile, by borders, and by power structures. So it's very, very, very deep in that sense. There's a lot of big issues being raised in this poem. So with that in mind, let's have a look, and we can kind of see some émigrés there on a ship, and then new kind of immigrants into, looks like America there. So you can kind of get a feel just from the images. So let's have a really good look at the poem, and I'll try and get it all on in one go. Okay, so just have a read. There once was a country. I left it as a child, but my memory of it is sunlight clear. For it seems I never saw it in that November which, I am told, comes to the mildest city. The worst news I receive of it cannot break my original view, the bright, filled paperweight. It may be at war, it may be sick with tyrants, but I am branded by an impression of sunlight. So they've left this country, and even though it may have a war going on there and things like that, but the émigré still has a rose-tinted view of their homeland. The white streets of that city, the graceful slopes, glow even clearer as time rolls its tanks and the frontiers rise between us, close like waves. That child's vocabulary I carried here like a hollow doll opens and spills a grammar. Soon I shall have every coloured molecule of it. It may be now a lie, banned by the state, but I can't get it off my tongue. It tastes of sunlight. Lovely use of what we call synesthesia there, where one sense substitutes for another. You can't taste sunlight, obviously, but wonderful poetic technique. Last stanza. I have no passport. There's no way back at all, but my city comes to me in its own white plane. It lies down in front of me, docile as paper. I comb its hair and love its shining eyes. My city takes me dancing through the city of walls. They accuse me of absence. They circle me. They accuse me of being dark in their free city. My city hides behind me. They mutter death, and my shadow falls as evidence of sunlight. And the sunlight there is a symbol of the memories of the old city where they used to live kind of remaining within them. Okay, it's actually very emotional, kind of beautifully wrought poem. So let's round off by giving you some key annotations for this this poem. Now, these are not kind of comprehensive notes, so there's a lot more than this, but these are anchor notes which will start off your exploration of the poem. So first off, we have idealized memory. There once was a country. So there's almost like a fairy tale opening. It creates a nostalgic storybook kind of tone. The speaker is clearly romanticising their homeland here, bigging it up like it was some beautiful, beautiful place. Then the use of the past tense as well. There once was, not is, there once was, suggests loss, exile, and a longing for something irretrievable. Okay, it's almost like that country has now passed into memory. It's now gone. Okay, very, very sad start to the poem. Then the use of light imagery, I think, is very, very interesting. So I love that line. You could tell I was a big fan. It tastes of sunlight. Okay, so you have the synesthesia. So it kind of mixes senses of taste and sight. Sunlight doesn't taste of anything. So it shows how vivid and positive her memories are, almost like she can taste them in some ways. Symbol of hope as well. Sunlight has symbolism behind it. It represents warmth, safety, and idealism despite the country's possible violence. So definitely get into the symbolism there of sunlight, I think, and you will get a better mark. Okay, then we have the conflict with reality here. So I would say here, I am branded by an impression of sunlight. So branded like being burnt, when they burn a mark onto you. So it's obviously a metaphor. It suggests both a permanent mark and possible pain has been left on this émigré, the pain of leaving the homeland. Their identity is shaped by memory, even if it's unrealistic memories. And there's also a juxtaposition there, positive of sunlight, but violence of branded. So it shows a tension there between memory and reality. Okay, and again, that would be very good analysis for any of your essays on this poem. And then lastly, the threat and surveillance, I would say here. So they accuse me of being dark in their free city. So dark, we're probably getting into skin tone there. The ambiguity of they, it's undefined kind of group, so it could be someone in the new country who's kind of bad-mouthing them. It represents oppression, xenophobia, where you have a fear of people from the outside, which happens in many cultures, or control in their new home. Obviously also the irony of free city. It doesn't feel that free, doesn't it, when you're being abused? So it isn't welcoming, and it highlights how émigrés can feel alienated despite escaping conflict. Okay, they always tend to have a tough time in different cultures. So hopefully that's been a bit of a whistle-stop tour through the émigré there, but hopefully you found it really interesting, and it's just as valid now as when it was written. We've had a look at obviously some of the key contextual points. We've read the poem out quite nicely. Just rerun it if you want to hear me speak it again. And we've looked at some of the key anchor notes for you to get into your anthology. So hopefully a really good beginner's guide. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss another Let's Learn video again. Share it with all your friends, and if you have any comments about the poem, please do just chuck them in the comments and we'll reply on YouTube. And it just remains to say, hopefully with the émigré, hopefully that's helped you a little bit along the way. Thanks for listening. Take care, and we'll see you soon.